A match worthy of a semi-final, one that needed full 91 minutes for you to find out who the winner is going to be. It all looked like you were headed into extra time, but Ollie Watkins and England had other plans. A superb strike, a banger of a strike in the 91st minute, the first minute of added time is when that Ollie Watkins strike came in, and that's how the match was settled. It was too late then for the Dutch to find an equalizer and push the match into extra time. We've got our two finalists now. Spain it was who emerged triumphant yesterday over France, and today in the match that we saw, it was England that survived and have prevailed over the Dutch. They've not had a good record against them, just the one win in the last five matches, but that record has improved now to a second win now in six matches. And for two successive editions now, it is the England team that are going to be playing in the finals of the Euros. Obviously, hoping that things change this time around as they play for a second successive time in the final. Nikhil with me as we try and reflect back on what we witnessed over there. 91st minute strike, Nikhil. You don't really save those, do you?
I want to know, you didn't want England to win. How are you feeling?
It's not about not wanting. I just felt as to what I'd seen till now from England. I
What
did
great had you
question.
seen from the Dutch team? What
No, they
great
were scoring
football?
goals. They had goals in each match. In fact, they were one of the teams that were playing a high risk game. They were playing a high risk game in the build up to
Who
this
did they
match.
beat? Who did they beat in the pre-quarterfinals?
See, when you look at game by game, just
Who
the
did they
one game
beat in the quarterfinals?
I will say the one thing though, they played France, if I recall correctly, and they didn't score in that match. But besides that, all matches that they played,
Did they not finish third in their group?
they did. They did. That's what I'm saying. That's
So
what I'm
what were
saying.
you up against? Were you up against? Why is it that I picked England? You know, I'm no England fan. You are more of an England fan than I am. But the reason is because they were up against a team which had finished third in their group and somehow got an easy draw in the quarterfinal,
See, they were part, Nikhil, they were part of a tough
semi-final,
group. They were part of a tough group. They were
quarters,
part of a very tough group.
quarter. Yeah, but still, yeah, quarters, they were lucky to. Turkey is not the best team in the world. They were lucky to scrape through that game. Turkey were the better team on the pitch on the day. Let's be
Hmm.
honest. Pre-quarters also got an easy outing. So they've never been tested in this tournament. It's looked good because it's come against teams that, see, firstly, let's be honest, the other side of the table was where all the team was. I mean, even if you had to ask me like a couple of weeks ago, which team is going to win. I may not have been able to pick one team, but I would have said probably the team from that side with Germany, Spain, France, everyone that side. So firstly, this side of the draw was anyway weak. This was a contest between not two title winning teams. Again, let's be honest, you knew that they'd both been lucky to be in that part of the draw to get this far. And between England and Dutch, again, not a fan of either, but I just thought that England still had tougher outings and had come, showing better football so far. Dutch, I think,
I, I,
got
I
lucky.
don't, no, no, no. I don't think better football, England, I don't think that it can be said in the same breath.
Who did
Because
who
if
did England beat? Who did England beat in pre-quarters?
I am not looking at how, I am looking at,
Who did
you look
England
at
beat in
how
the? You
England,
have to see the opposition. No, you have to see the opposition you're
but you
playing.
look at,
What is
you
the
look at,
only time the Dutch team had some tough teams against them? They finished third in the table. By the way, finished
if
third
you
in a
were to put,
table which had
I would
France,
say if,
which many are saying are underperforming at the moment. In a
but
team like France,
England, despite being in one of the easiest groups of all the groups, and I remember speaking with David James as well, and he too admitted that this was probably not the toughest group, and it's always not good, in fact, at the start of a tournament that you find yourself amongst teams that aren't as competitive as you think you are. And we saw that from England as well. Despite all of that, where has the goal scoring been from England? Where has the cohesion been from England? So much talk about,
no, see
Harry
that you're
Kane being
comparing
surrounded.
them. You're looking at them. Are they a title winning team? So you're saying where is the cohesion? Where is the goal scoring? They were in a easier group.
But
All
the
that's
players
fine.
that you
I'm
have,
saying, Are Baba, but that's another thing. No, are they? See, the question to which you're giving an answer is: are they playing according to the players they have? Are they playing to the standard that you're expecting? The answer to that can be no. I'm not denying that. I am only drawing a comparison between the two teams that were playing there. I am not for once saying that England are the best team in the tournament, or the second best team, or the third best team in the tournament. Definitely not. Are England playing according to the team sheet that they have? No. Are they the most sensational team in this tournament? No. Are they being branded boring in this tournament? Yes, they have been for right reason. All of that put together. I'm saying it is just a comparison of the team that they come up with. So it's an average team coming up against a below average team is my point at the moment, and that is what the contest was, which is why I thought that, see, Dutch till now hadn't even been tested. They did not even get, as I mentioned, the only time they got tested in group stage where they finished third. I mean, lucky enough to have qualified for the next round. So I did not see this is the same Dutch team again. If you're looking at where they perform, this is the same Dutch team that gave nightmare to an Argentina team in the
Argentina.
World Cup. Yes.
Yes,
So and
yes,
then that's
yes.
why. But are they playing at that standard that they were ready to give? If this Dutch team now, with the way they are playing, dare I say, it'll be like a one-horse race if they were to come up against that Argentina or that World Cup, right? My point is that. So if England have had a dip, if England are not playing at that level, so are the Dutch. And I think it's not a question of the team at hand. I still think it's a talented bunch of players. I think the way they were managed, the way their resources have been, managed at the moment, probably a better manager, and that's where I think there is a difference between a Van Gaal and a Koeman. Koeman, as great a player as he was, I don't think has ever been a manager as even close to the player he was. I mean, again, I say it as having experienced Koeman's managership while he was in charge at Barcelona. So I think that's why they underperform. And as I said, it was not so much the faith that I had in this English team. It's so much of the faith that I had in this Dutch team not really turning up. But having said that, I think they fought tooth and nail. This was a close contest. That stunning goal right at the start came out of nowhere. But again, for England to have made a comeback, I think uh, bit not saying that they're a deserved finalist because the standard has been so low, but in the contest that you had today between Holland and England, I think the better team prevailed. Are they going to be the better team in the final? If you're going to ask 10 people, I think 9 are going to pick the other team, whoever would have come. By the way, I know they're going to pick Spain, but let's say France would have come or Germany would have come from the other side. Majority, about 70-80% would pick a team that side and not this team. But England will celebrate. They had a voodoo on their back about not making big finals when you're playing away from home. The World Cup victory 66 came at home. The final last time around in
Wembley.
Euro came at home at Wembley. Didn't end up on again a close game. Heartbreak for them to lose the way they did in the final against Italy. But here away from home, so that voodoo or that sort of a brand that had
I,
been,
I,
or the
I
tag that had been
agree. I
associated with
agree
them has
with
been
you
taken
that
away.
we saw better from England today. There was still a better version of England that we've seen from them in the past in this very tournament. The one disagreement that I have with you is about the run into the semi-finals. I still believe that if England were to be in Netherlands' place in that group, I believe England also probably could have finished third. You never know, and that was I remember a group that had things alive till the very last match of the group. England were pitted in a very very easy group in comparison. Now Netherlands were in a group which had France, which had a Poland as well. Now, given those two teams, if I put England over there, I doubt if England also were finishing top two, given what we've seen from them over the last
Sure, they would have finished
couple of
third,
weeks.
right? I'm not saying England would have topped the group. That's not the argument. I'm saying if between two average teams, one was even more average than the other. Not for once am I saying that. I'm saying the run-in till after that, your knockout games, Dutch look good because of the opposition that they came up against. The only time they came up again, I'm not putting England at par with the other group. You're not getting my point. I'm still saying that they are inferior. But between Holland and England, going in today's game, it was clearly the England team that was better because the other was even worse than them. And by the way, it's not just my opinion. We sat and looked at the bookmakers odds. They
Yeah.
considered a lot of things and they put England for good reason. Again, I'm repeating. I'm not saying England would have played against France and topped that group. I'm not saying England would have been setting the stage on fire. If England came up against Spain, they would have thrashed them. Not at all. We're far from that. I'm saying between these two teams, if I had to pick a winner, it would have been England. I'm not surprised. As I said, on the night also, the better team won because again they came up with a with a Dutch team that have been underperforming, not also at the same level that we saw at the World Cup. That again takes me to the question to which you haven't answered. Why is it that you didn't want England to win? You've been saying this from evening. I don't want them to win. I thought you're a United fan, and like English connection. So many EPL players playing, or
I,
is it because
I
a lot of Liverpool players are part of the squad, or City player is part of the squad, and so on and so forth? You're like,
see
yeah,
there's a fair there isn't as big a representation of Manchester United this time around in this English side as it
no
was
surprise.
the previous time. Still FA Cup winners, I'll take that. But that's no reason. The fact that there is lesser Manchester United representation this time, that's no reason. It's just that I was just not excited about England, and they've not surprised me. Yes, they've made the final, but the fact that the kind of football that they've played, and
Well,
that's with every
that's another
England
thing that they didn't impress you. You didn't want them to make the final. I want to know what is the reason behind you not
because
wanting them.
because having seen the way that they've played and the way they've huffed and puffed their way into the semi-final, I
No,
felt the
that's your
Dutch.
prediction. That's your prediction that Dutch could
For
beat
that,
England. But you
see,
didn't want them. You didn't
yeah,
want them
for the
to.
very reason
Why?
that I didn't want a team that had been far, far, far less or far away from the word impressive, or the word impressive didn't
What
even
ditto
exist
for
for them.
Dutch? Ditto for
I
Dutch. No, no.
was,
There
I
has to
was,
be some other reason.
I
To be
was a little
something.
more entertained watching the Dutch side. Again, if an England side had to do so much and they were, yes, I know, you'd probably argue that against Turkey, they were 20 minutes away from
Why did
elimination.
you want Harry Kane to fail? Why did you want him to fail today? Why did you want him to fail? He scored a goal. Just want to remind you wanted England to lose.
A
You
penalty.
wanted whatever. Yeah. If he had missed that penalty, then what? If he had missed it, you would have
By the
pounced
way,
on it. You
contentious
wanted him to
penalty.
fail. That would have
Contentious
worked.
penalty. We must spend time talking about that as well.
Okay,
Very,
I'll get to the refereeing, but I want to first get answers from you. That why did you want Harry Kane to fail? Why did you want England to lose? See, prediction is another thing. Like
yeah, yeah.
I'm predicting England to win,
No,
but I'm not.
see,
There's nothing
I,
inside me that I want Holland to lose or Netherlands to lose. But you wanted England to lose. I want to know why.
because I was again this. It reminds me of England at times. The two entities they
They're
remind me
not
of.
playing Rashford or something like that. That's why.
No, 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 no. The two entities they sort of remind me of England is RCB when it comes to IPL, and
Achha. Now
Manchester
you're
City
talking.
when it comes to the Premier League. And Manchester City, not success wise, for Manchester City to be called the noisy neighbors that they have been for Manchester United. So a lot of noise with little to show for is what City used to be
Achha.
at
See,
one point,
now
not
you're
right
talking.
now. Not
Now
right
you're
now.
talking. Now you're
And
talking. Now you're
and
giving us reason.
and 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 for the same reason RCB again, lesser said the better. So that is what England have been or were up till this particular game. However, I will take it, I will concede that today though they played like a team worthy of being in the semi-final. Till now there was very little that you saw from England that gave any sort of confidence, or for that matter the play was a good advertisement of the sport in itself. They were very far away from any of that. Very, very scrappy. Tonight, though, I saw, Pickford in the act. I saw a good defensive shape as well. And the one thing I must point out over here that's worked well for England, and I think this is a mid-tournament change that Gareth Southgate brought in, was the three at the back. However, I think things changed in the second half once Luke Shaw came in and the conventional back four
Yeah.
was seen after that. However, the first half was far more entertaining and yielded that first goal as well. When you saw three at the back, I think three at the back formation is what's working a little better for Gareth Southgate, as we saw him having to adjust after the group stage ended as well. So that's my take on on the England composition, on the England shape, and I like them much better. If you ask me two halves, I'll take the England that I saw in the first half, not the England that I saw in the second half, because just possession changing hands, not too much in terms of going forward, and all the best chances. You look at that Phil Foden chance as well that was created in the first half. In fact, two of his chances being created in the first half, one being cleared by Dumfries, the other hitting the crossbar. So I think England, if they can, if they have the gumption to hold that shape against Spain, I think they'll have doubts about it though, because knowing how attacking Spain can get, England will have to, and Southgate will have to rethink what they should do in the final on Sunday. As a neutral, I would want them to entertain me, to play um, some attacking football as well, some fight as well, and yeah, that's what I look forward to as far as England are concerned in the final now.
Final is far away. I'll talk about the final later. Just on the game, I think that's the difference between the two teams. Southgate versus Koeman. I think Southgate was spot on.
What did you make
Even
of the
the
formation change?
Yeah, I did notice it. And I thought that they were far more comfortable when they made that change in the second half. But overall, I think Southgate was spot on with his subs as well. I mean, the winning goal comes courtesy a substitute, takes Harry Kane off, and then brings on the sub. And what a goal! Yeah, again, I think sometimes we only talk about long rangers if Yamal scores from outside the box, but even this, it wasn't a long ranger. But look at that turn, tough position. There's a defender marking him so close. He has to beat the defender and the goalkeeper in that one turn. And imagine the time, right? It's injury time that you're playing to produce that perfect shot with the way he did it. I mean, kudos. It's a
His
goal.
only shot
The only
also.
shot, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So, firstly, great, substitution first off, and then for your second touch and your first shot in the game, which he had, outstanding to produce a result like that.
And
It
it
was a
did surprise
brilliant,
me
brilliant
because
goal.
it's
Mm.
it's this version of Ollie Watkins that you saw the previous season of the English Premier League. The Ollie Watkins of the previous season was a sight to watch. If I'm not wrong, finished way above 15 goals in the last edition of the Premier League, and he carried a he sort of came onto the pitch carrying the same form that you saw from him all through the previous season of the EPL. In fact, was at one time in the running for the Golden Boot as well. I'll just have to check how many goals he ended the season with, but a very good season is what he had with Aston Villa. No surprise that Villa, in fact, because of all the goals that they were getting from him, they did manage to qualify in the Champions League this season as well. So Ollie Watkins really proving, and that wasn't a gamble, a bit of a gamble though, but I think it was a good gamble from Southgate to take, because had the match gone into penalties, you really would have wanted Harry Kane to be there. But Ollie Watkins, rightly so, reaping the faith that the manager, had in him.
Yeah, interesting. Now let's get to the elephant in the room, the refereeing. I mean, I'll get to the penalty, but overall, I again, I don't want to set the cat amongst the pigeon. But overall, I thought that the close decisions, the close one, the very close one, fouls, nudges, uh, all kind of going in England's favor, slightly in
Oh no.
England's favor. I wonder whether this had an impact of just because the referee with all the. I mean, of course, he was cleared. He was charged of match fixing. Many years ago, he was cleared of all of that, and then coming back, he's already refereed a few games in this edition of the Euro. But that statement from Jude Bellingham before the game was to start, where he says, he points a finger at him. It could have gone either way. Either the referee could have been extra harsh on the English team, or could have been extra soft. I think it's worked the latter. I don't know if I saw it like that, or am I reading too much into it, but I did see overall. I don't think it made a massive difference to the game, but I think the close calls here and there, 50-50 calls,
I
all ended
agree.
up going in England's way.
Take for example the moments, in the dying moments of the match, that corner which was to be a Dutch corner wasn't given. Clearly there was a deflection over there when, if memory serves me right, it was Virgil van Dijk who was going for that free kick, but it was clearly, the deflection came on the defender, wasn't it? Agree with you, half chances. Interestingly though, we may be sitting here, in India, but I just want to read out a message I got from a friend of mine watching this match, and he's a British citizen. So he sends this message to me, and he
He
says
was at the stadium. He was at the stadium watching the
he
game in
wasn't at the
Dortmund.
stadium. He wasn't at the
Oh,
stadium though, but he was just trying to tell me what the chatter was in those circles, building up to this
so
matches.
whereabouts is he right now? That's what I want to know. The chatter.
In
Isn't
London,
he
in London,
in
in
London?
London,
Okay,
in
okay,
London.
okay.
So he says, "Did you guys see the news pre-match? It is everywhere here that this match is fixed and the referee is not to be trusted."
No, that I see. I think that's much like we hear in cricket also. India does well. Arey, you're trying to fix the world. Those senator. I wouldn't go so far as to say. See, the better team I think won. Let's not be
But
uncharitable
the
to
half
England. But
chances,
I
that's
agree.
important.
Yes, I
That's important. The
completely. I
half
mean, without
chances,
knowing,
even the
without
penalty,
hearing.
and that
No,
takes
I
us to
get to
the
the
penalty
penalty.
decision as well.
No, I get to the penalty. I get to the penalty. But I'm saying, see, we're far away from that chatter, right? We are not, listening to all of that. We're only seeing the game as neutral.
Objectively.
And I don't even know what your opinion was. You didn't know what my opinion is. I haven't seen anything being discussed on social media. I wasn't on social media, just looking at the match, and we've come live right after it. So whatever opinion we're coming with is very organic. It's natural to what we felt, right? And it's no coincidence that both of us agree. So it can't be an isolated opinion. Now you tell me what your friend is saying, but as I said, that may be a bit of an exaggeration where he
Yeah.
is taking it. But yeah, half chances. But overall, I'll still maintain I don't think the game was completely decided on referee's decision. Now get to the penalty. Go ahead.
See, the rule's clear. If a defender catches, if a defender catches an attacker, it's a pen, it's a foul. However, the point of debate over here is as to how much the contact over there was, and I felt that this was more on the soft side. I don't think the contact there was such. Yes, Harry Kane made the most of it, absolute meal out of it, I would say, clutching his knee, taking his own time to get up. And the England players, they joined in as far as creating all that drama was concerned. And everything. One thing with VAR is you watch everything real time. Everything will appear as a foul to you. There is nothing in this world that you've seen slow motion will not appear as a foul to you. That's the downside of VR. Certain things I feel will have to be and should be judged real time. This was one such case because the contact tells you that he'd already he'd already kicked the ball in the direction of the goal, which didn't obviously direct towards the goal that much as he would have liked. Having said that, the contact I think was minimal. There was nothing innocuous about the challenge over there from Dumfries. I think he was well within his right to go for the ball as well. It was for both Kane and him to reach out to the ball, and the contact I felt was minimal for it to not have been given a penalty. However, that was another decision that went England's way.
I mean, see again, going back to what I said about the refereeing, half chances going England's way. But as I said, the match also wasn't decided because of those half chances going England's way. And I maintain that. See, this, any referee on the planet would have given it a penalty, right? When you look at it at the VAR, when he was told to look at it into VAR, and I think it wasn't his call. I think he was told in the year to just have a
To
closer
go
look at
check,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, because it was a 50-50 thing. So go and look at it. Once you saw it, when you and I saw it, I knew it was going to be a penalty. Simply, I'm just following the rule book. If your leg is raised as high it is and you're going, studs first like that towards the opposition player, that's a foul wherever you are on the pitch. And the rule is simple. If it happens inside the D, if you commit a foul inside the D, then it automatically translates into a penalty. So I think the referee there followed the rule to the T. My point is a larger. I'm not even looking at the intensity of how hard it is or soft, because that's debatable, that's subjective, that is how you look at it, and there is no way to really gauge that, right? There's no meter or anything to really gauge. Did it really hit him hard or soft or whatever? Not even getting into that. My point is larger, and I made it earlier in our football discussion, that I think we've become too not namby-pamby, but too careful
Yeah, we've
about,
had this chat. Yeah,
yeah, too careful about the foul. So why I say that,
doesn't
like,
see
see,
it's
no, let me explain just one
yeah.
second. Just let me explain what I'm trying to get to. So see, the problem is that when that contact happens, and what should be the thing, there's a rule, right? You can't go stud first, fine. But look at the context. Now, if he went stud first, okay, and that caused an impediment to the shot. So either that leg going touched
Exactly.
Kane's
Agreed.
foot
Got your point. Got
before
your
he
point.
connected,
So not in the follow
or
through during the
no,
course of the shot
no,
being made
yeah. But I'm saying, one, if it connected while before he gets a
to the
touch to the
ball.
ball, or even if he's touched the ball and that foot makes a connection with the ball and deflects it in a way. So I'm saying either way, if the result of that kick is influenced by that raised foot, okay, then by all means give it a penalty. My
Agreed.
point is that contact happens. So Kane's hit the ball's already left his foot, it's on its way, It's not been touched after that by the defender or anyone else. So the result of that kick is done, post which the leg comes and hits Kane's foot. So in that sense, it's not affecting the outcome. If it's not affecting the outcome, that is something that needs to be considered. I'm saying the larger picture, and
See,
then you
had
give
there
it a
been,
no
yes,
penalty.
agreed. And even then, had the ball, and we saw the ball not be hit in the direction of the goal, it went outside the goal. However, if there was genuine malice over there, if the defender was genuinely late to the ball or to the or to Harry Kane in this particular instance, agreed, foul. Late challenges anywhere on the field it happens, they're given a foul, right? So in this case as well, could have been given a penalty had the defender been humongously late, but the ball was there to be contested by both. And Harry Kane had already made his shot. And that's when Dumfries again split of a second, and the contact as well very minimal if you ask me. So if I were in that VAR room, I probably wouldn't have asked the referee to come and have a look. Maybe I would have said, no, you need to stick with the decision made. Just carry on with the game. No need to come to the monitor. No need to give a penalty. Just carry on with the game.
But that would have been tough, right? Because even the guy who's on the monitor has to take a split call, and I mean the eventual decision is with the referee, and that's where the referee should have used his uh, judgment to have
Judgment.
taken a call. I mean, yeah, but it's at that moment, VAR guy sees there's a contact. He's following the rule book. It's going start first. Maybe it's a
But
penalty. It's best to put it on the referee. So not blaming VAR so much, but I think the referee there then has to look at all aspects and just don't be like lakir ka fakir as we
it
say
is,
in
see,
Hindi.
I feel the
You have a
more and
rule there.
more
Just let me one second. You have a rule there, and then that rule is there, and then you follow that rule to the T, as in I'm not going to look at anything else, but this is what is gone, and I'm going to decide.
but
Just
that
look at the context. I mean, we are looking at it from the outside, and if we can look at it from that context, having the opportunity to have looked at multiple replays, which he did, I'm sure the referee who's qualified enough and has refereed at multiple levels could have taken that call too.
agreed. But now the decision's been made, and again, if you were to just make a list of all those decisions that did go England's way, even half chances, I would say this one, because of the impact that it had on the scoreline, will surely be the biggest talking point or be right up that list. But the one thing I want to just say before we dive into the comments, that every time you look at things in slow motion, they will appear as a foul to you. That's one thing, and this is where you need subjectivity and not going by the book. This is where you need referees to be far more subjective, apply their knowledge of the game, apply their understanding of how things work, how contact is made, what it is to be in the position of an attacker, what it is to be in the position of a defender. Apply all of those things, and perhaps then we can arrive at better decisions. I'm not saying this was a howler. I'm not labeling this a howler. However, I would have wanted this to not be given a penalty because this was soft, by my understanding, or by my limited understanding, I should say.
Yep.
Anyhow, Harsh Khatri with the $1 million question. He's just joined us and he says, "Is it coming home, guys?"
No, I mean, it's a simple answer is no. Again, you never know. It's a game of football. Anything can happen. Funnier things have happened, but I think uh, I said it, I think, at the start of the discussion. If you ask 10 people, 9 or probably 8 would pick Spain here, looking at the form, irrespective of which team they support.
And then he says, he says that Watkins deserves to start ahead of Kane. It's like Pant and Samson.
No, that's not a fair comparison. I think there isn't much to choose between Pant and Samson, by the way. But there is a big difference between Watkins and Kane in terms of the stature that they carry, right? Not that much of a difference between Pant and Samson.
This one by Asad, he says that Kane already delivered the shot. The block didn't make anything. It was a 60-40 decision.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly the point that we were alluding to. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see what Sandeep says. He says that nobody wants England and football and Indian cricket apart from their own fans because of the hype and power.
Yeah, I mean he's right. I mean when you have it boils down to the leagues that you have, English Premier League, one of the top leagues in the world. So that, but I think there is a slight difference. See, England does not run soccer. There are multiple countries that do it. Even in terms of league, EPL may be the most popular, but there are good three, four leagues around the world that are popular, that have a lot of money, that have superstar players playing for them. Now that's even increased with money being pumped in by the US and Saudi and so on and so forth. So there is a thing. But in cricket, there is a clear divide. Right? There's IPL and then there's daylight and then there's everyone else. Even in cricket, there's India and then there's daylight and then there's everyone else. So that's not the thing. I think the one reason why England, not everyone backs them is because the hype is always more around them. The media also like very builds them up, maximum talk, commentary. We get to listen to English commentary. A lot of time it's biased. So because of that, with India, I think it's more about the money power that they have. Yeah.
Sharan has a very interesting comment.
Hmm.
He says one of the most boring matches of the Euros, not a semi-final worth. Looks like both teams took inspiration from the Indian cricket team in ICC tournaments. I don't
Oh,
quite get the
harsh.
comparison.
Yeah, and very harsh. Oh, Indian cricket team wasn't boring previously. Yeah, they buckled under pressure in a few crucial games, but they were not boring. Today, actually, none of the teams buckled under pressure. It's just that I think the level of football that they are playing at is not really that sort of level that you're seeing from a few other teams in this tournament. I think that's the issue with India. The level of cricket was never an issue. The issue was that that big game, and then you suddenly froze.
Yeah, let's see if England can brush aside that tag because they too have their own demons to fight with.
Yeah,
Sandeep, being one of the many people who feel that Harry Kane should be dropped. It's interesting, there are comparisons about the Indian cricket team and the England football team being made. Then there's talk about Kane being dropped. There was talk about a couple of Indian stalwarts being dropped as well. So things going pretty much hand in hand
yeah.
as far as the
Yeah.
comments are concerned.
Shubham Garg has a super chat. He says England as a country thinks it's superior to others, so don't want them to win anything in any sport. So it's just more about that same subject that we were talking about. Today I picked England to win, not because I wanted them to win, but I just thought that they were slightly ahead of Netherlands in the tournament in terms of football that they're playing. Again, not both setting the stage on fire, but one better than the other. But now, whoever would have won, I wouldn't have given them much of a chance in the finals anyway. So,
Yeah. Sandeep believes that this was not a penalty. Okay.
yeah,
A
well,
question
much
from
like what we were
Anuj.
discussing.
Anuj has a question for you. He's asking you if you're going for Paris Olympics.
Anuj is here. Anuj should have joined our live stream. I am not sure, Anuj, at the moment. Is Anuj going for?
This isn't the Anuj you're mistaking him for.
Acha.
Anuj call
Okay, Anuj, I do not have 100% answer. That process is being discussed as we
underway.
speak. Is being discussed, but it's not about me or whatever. There will be representation from sports today, definitely at the Olympic Games. That's as much as I can say at the moment.
Maybe the last one, Yan says that this bring it home thing is annoying.
Yeah, I think, but it's been on for a very long time. So yeah, I agree. Now it's extended to other
I
sports as
think
well.
we've
I'm
got
gonna
one
quickly.
more
No, no,
super
we've
chat.
got a lot, so I'm gonna quickly take a few. Asaduzzaman is saying, can you guys please make a duck out on Indian football, like when they can play World Cup, what's going on, etc. By the way, thanks for doing this live. Asad will try and do that. Ikpreet Singh says, hello, Mark Walk. For those of you who are wondering why is he saying Mark Walk, that's like a Sports Today's pet name, if I can say. So he says now England can say they can match their words with performance. Sidvi might be a little sad, and I'm also sad. Yes, we'll get his reactions tomorrow. Harsh Khatri says Shane is missing. Shane is an England fan. He said I watched the fan reaction and I'm wondering. I missed your live. Glad I could catch you guys live. Thanks for covering it. You guys are growing fast. Kudos. Thanks a lot for that, Harsh. Jan is saying, "Are you guys going to watch the Wimbledon finals?" Hell yes, we're going to be watching it. Looks like it could be a Djokovic Alcaraz final, though I'd be rooting for a Djokovic Medvedev final. I'm rooting for Medvedev. I've always liked the guy. Everyone's like nasty to him. Actually, everyone's nasty to Joko as well. So that'd be an interesting final. Let's see who the crowd backs. Um, you've got Saurav Mukherjee, who says that Nikhil, it's the other way around when it comes to England media on their team. Unlike here, their fans and media rips off instead of cheerleading. No, no, Saurav, no. They cheerlead them all the time, more than any other media. I've seen it. It's just
I
when
mean,
things go wrong, they'll do a complete U-turn and then hammer them.
for
But most of
football
the other
though,
time,
I feel yes, there's a lot of sugar coating. Not for cricket. I think cricket there's still a little harsh. Football, I feel things are
yeah, yeah. I'm
glorified
only
far
talking about
more.
football. Only talking about football. Yeah,
Cricket, though, I've
only
seen
talk.
them being harsh. I think cricket
Yeah.
they can end up being harsh. However, football, yes, there's a lot of sugar coating and a lot of needless merrymaking that happens.
Yeah. Parth wants to know, is Jude the front runner for Ballon d'Or if England win? No.
See,
Would he
he
be?
finished with what 25 goals, if I'm not wrong, and yeah, he's going to be at the podium. I feel, yeah.
Yeah, but is he that level?
If he
Kylian
wins the
Mbappe
Euros,
has not had a great time. Yeah, if he wins the Euro, you're right. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, because
He's got
25
Champions
plus
League.
goals and a Champions League and a Euros,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
I
Then yeah,
think
yeah. It's a good point
is good
actually.
credentials.
Yeah, yeah. We have Zakaria saying, Nikhil, I'm from Amsterdam. Oh, Zakaria, you may not be too happy today. With the result, I'm sure. Neither would the entire Amsterdam be happy, but it is what it is.
Parth,
Uh,
Parth has an
Nikhil's
interesting one.
no, Zakaria also says, Nikhil, you are better than Weghorst. He is very bad. But he got Netherlands back in the game. Remember that Argentina match?
Of course, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah, but here it just wasn't effective. I don't think they used him also, didn't use his height and presence that much.
Parth says it's coming home is the equivalent of Isala Cup Naam De.
Yeah, yeah. Harsh Khatri says Vinicius Junior as well, but he's not had a great Copa. They're out, so yeah, that may go against him. Sandeep Randhawa says Rodri. Rodri could get, but no, I think
Yeah,
yeah, with
he
City,
won the title. Yeah,
yes, and then yeah, good shout out, and he was outstanding, in that semi-final. Very good in the semi-final.
he's scored the one goal as well. I remember. I think it was in the
Harshit is
quarters.
having a tough time acknowledging that, but it's okay. Try,
Quarters. No, as
try.
long as he's doing all of that in a Spanish jersey, I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, Harsh Khatri. I remember. We were, in fact,
yeah,
what Harsh points out over there in the comments is
yeah.
something we were talking about that if things are to get to the finalisma, if the Dutch are to win, if the Argentina are to win, what a reunion that'll be for Weghorst and Messi.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Chalo, on
All
that
right.
note, let's call it a night.
Yeah, Ikpreet says it very well. He says, "Thank you, guys. Stay healthy, eat your vegetables, fruits, and all of that."
Yeah, we don't have to say it. Thank you, Ikpreet, for doing that for us. Bye bye.
On that, see you guys. Bye bye. Take care.